let's go ahead and bring in an expert who can help us figure out what's going on with the team that played the Lakers in the NBA Finals last year. That would be Nick Friedell, NBA reporter for ESPN. Nick, we always appreciate the time. The Miami Heat, after last year's run to the finals, now find themselves 2.5 games back of a playoff spot. Not the lead in the Eastern Conference, of a playoff spot, having used 13 different starting lineups due to injuries, COVID, all that stuff. How confident are you that this team can get back to the postseason?
I'm confident, and this team is always confident, guys. But what the Heat are finding out is that bubble hangover is real. And this team, with all the COVID issues that it dealt with, all the injuries that they're continuing to deal with, they just don't look the same. The swagger that Miami carried with it throughout that bubble, it's gone. And now they're going through the real hard times of the NBA. So do I believe they'll get it back together to get into the postseason with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo? Absolutely. But to think that they're going to have anywhere close to the success that they did last postseason, that is really, really difficult to see.
Yeah, Nick, I think something that Heat fans might point to as a reason why they're struggling this year is their lack of accuracy from downtown. When you go back to last regular season and their time in the bubble, the Heat were dynamic from deep, second in the NBA in field goal percentage from three-point land, and their time in the postseason. Right now, this year, they're 24th in the NBA and their percentage from beyond the arc. Regardless of who is on the court, what is the plan to start getting better looks or knocking down more of these shots?
They've just got to start getting everybody active and engaged early. Guys, what did we see time and again when the Heat would get rolling? Duncan Robinson was hitting shots from the outside. Tyler Hero was running all over the floor, and he was knocking down shots. Those two have got to set the tone for everybody else. I mean, you're not going to see it from Bam. Jimmy's never really been a good outside shooter, but those guys will set the space for the rest of the team to operate. To me, the reason the Heat team is struggling so bad is that it looks like when you watch him, Duncan Robinson just doesn't have near the confidence that he did even a few months ago. So I think it starts there, but Hero's got to be a little bit better, and those two have always set the tone offensively from the outside for what everybody else wants to do.
If you go way back to the opening numbers for the NBA championship for this season, Miami was 30-1, and despite the slow start, they currently find themselves at 16-1, which is interesting because they were 30-1 entering the bubble last year when they went on that remarkable run that got them to the finals. So, when they get healthy, how serious of a contender do you see these guys being to the Bucks and the Nets for at least the Eastern Conference crown?
Don't do it. Don't do it. And I loved the Heat last year. I thought that they could legitimately make that run in the bubble, but we're not in a bubble anymore. This is a team that has flaws. This is a team that has dealt with a whole host of issues off the floor, injury-wise. I just don't think that they can recreate the magic. The Heat culture that everybody loved to talk about last season, it's not that it's disappeared, but what we've learned is you have to win to develop culture. Winning has to come first. I think they can turn things around, but guys, to think that they're going to turn it around from 7-14 and then make a run the likes of which they did a few months ago in the bubble all the way back to the finals, I don't see it at all. I would stay away from Miami in that number.
Nick Friedell, ESPN NBA reporter, kind enough to join us here on Bet. Great stuff as always, Nick. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Always, guys. See ya.